And we are.
And in 5, 4, 3, 2.
No, Sister please. You don't get to make jokes today. You don't get to make no jokes. All right, here we go. And we are live. Got the notification. Wonderful. I want to thank everyone for tuning in for a special edition of Off the Record this evening. I know a lot of people are dealing with the holidays and all of that good stuff, but we have a great subject matter called Love After Divorce. We have two panelists who've experienced being divorced, and now they are saying how they still believe in love, and I just want to hear their stories and understand why they still believe in love. Got Brother Ronald and Sister Stephanie. How are you all doing this evening?
Alaikum. What's up?
Merry Christmas.
Ronald, I'm not in the mood. Ronald.
Happy holidays to you, sir.
Sister Mariah.
You know.
Mariah, check your inboxes, Mariah. I gotta message you about top 5 tomorrow. Okay. Okay, so let's start. The first thing we want to do is we'll start with Sister Stephanie, then go Brother Ronald. Sister Stephanie, when you were married, how long were you married?
For 10 years.
10 years. Okay. Brother Ronald, how long were you married?
3.
3. Okay. 10 and 3. Yes, sir. 10 and 3. Okay, excellent. The next question is, how do you believe that the person that you got married to, I'll go with you, Brother Ronald, was your soulmate?
Emphatically, no.
Okay, bro. You might gotta say something like that.
All right, hold on. Let me be clear. My ex-wife unfortunately passed away about a year or so from breast cancer. Mm-hmm. So this is really just my testimony. Please don't take me as slighting her or making jokes about her. It's the mother of my children. May Allah be pleased with her. Let me make sure I put that PSA out there. You know what I'm saying? Yes. But definitely, she was not my soulmate.
Emphatically no. Okay.
Emphatically no.
Rachel, let's not to the Tracy. Also, Mariah, you didn't miss it. Okay, here we go. Okay, here we go. Sister Stephanie, do you believe that your husband was your soulmate?
No.
Okay, you don't believe your husband was your soulmate. All right.
He a good brother, though.
He's a good brother. Okay, Brother Ronald, what was the Mimi's laughing at Ronald. Brother Ronald, what was the final straw that made you want to get divorced? Like, how do you know if somebody's out there whose wife was married that they want to get divorced?
I mean, the details of the drama, I'll spare everybody for that. The straw would have been when we couldn't become on the same accord about what peace and happiness was going to be. It got to a point where, and my mother gave me some very good advice when I was going through the separation and divorce, and that was to make sure that I'm doing everything that I could do to be right. And at that point, when you know you're doing everything, it's easy to walk away because obviously you're trying. So no matter what she did, I used to try to uphold that. You know what? All right, cool. You tripping, you arguing. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to stay positive. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So of course there's drama that you're going to encounter, but at some points you have to be able to say, I want to get right. And in my opinion, we had lost that. We didn't, when I say we, I really mean she, but I'm being nice. We didn't get right.
Okay. Let's not and Rashad says he feels you. Okay, now
I'm saying, so of course there's drama that you're going to encounter.
Okay, so Stephanie's working on her phone. Sister Stephanie,
I know, like I'm so out the loop with this, but it's okay.
Good. This is all good. So Stephanie, what was the final straw with you and your husband?
We didn't have straws. We had a barrel of hay. I just think that with us, it's like one of those cliche things where we literally grew apart. You know what I mean? We married young. I was 21 at the time. And I think what we were doing was what we were supposed to do in regards to us being MGT and FOI in the ranks. He was a lieutenant. I was a Vanguard captain. We were both in the ministry class. I mean, and we were cool. We were super cool, but we just had different priorities. And for some men, everything is about money. And for some women, it's the complete opposite. Like, it's not the most valuable thing in the relationships. So we just grew apart for real, but we cool. We still cool. He a good brother. I don't have no shade for that man. He a good brother. He an excellent father to the children. We just grew apart though. We still cool. Still my homie.
Okay, yes ma'am. We're gonna stay on that grew apart thing. And thank you all for watching. Brother Ronald, how for somebody who's single like myself and the other single people who may be fearful of getting married because they don't want to get married and then grow apart, did you think that what are some steps that you may have suggested people take not to grow apart from their partner?
You have to keep growing. You grow apart because you stop. And I mean, not knowing Sister Stephanie's story, you do focus on money. You do focus on home or the business or the kids or whatever. And you and the individual stop growing. You and your partner stop growing. So for me, I know at the time in the nation, especially when you're young, we always pushing marriage. Brother, get married. Brother, get married. And I think a lot of the reason for that is because we know if you don't get married, you're probably doing something you ain't supposed to be doing out in the ranks. So I get it, but it doesn't make it correct, in my opinion. So at the time, I necessarily wasn't in the ranks, but we started dating serious, and I knew I was a Muslim. So when I got back involved in the mosque, full steam ahead, got my ex, became a lieutenant, all that good stuff. In my head, I was just doing what an FOI was supposed to do. Taking care of my household, taking care of my children, being a lieutenant. I had, details of whatever we was doing. The city of Phoenix can get very busy at times. So her being a new MGT, she got registered, she got in the mosque, she was in the MGT. She didn't understand that. She didn't have that level of understanding why, for instance, I'm doing a detail with Minister Farrakhan. What there's 50 brothers up there. Why you got to go? You know what I'm saying? So it was a lot that I didn't do as a young brother, not blaming nobody else, but I didn't understand as a young brother that I need to take care of her and my family on that end. I just thought that doing the right thing was sufficient and I was going to keep pushing. It wasn't a cheating scandal. It wasn't, financial issues like that. It was just, I didn't take care of what it was supposed to do. So I think that the biggest lesson would be, don't stop growing with your partner. Take a night off to grow with your partner. And, we can be all Islamic and say, go to study group together. Yeah, that's great. But then also do date nights too. Like go to concerts together too. Go to dinner together too. Go to the comedy shows together too. Like you can have fun and still be righteous. You ain't got to be savagery. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of the things that for me, I was tired when I had a day off. It was like, nah, we ain't about to sit here and watch Home Alone with the kids. Like, let's kick it. Like but that wasn't right on my end. I didn't take care of her and suffice her needs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, the struggle for balance is absolutely real, especially when you are a couple and y'all have, when you a couple and y'all have responsibilities within the mosque and you have a wife at home, it's definitely a struggle for balance, especially if she is a housewife, because I was a housewife when I was a young girl and we had a lot of children at the time. So I was at home with the children all day. He had children coming in. I had children. I had a son coming in. We had more children. And he was just working, going to the mosque. We had a store. It was a lot of business going on. So at the end of the day, even when we were trying to fix it, it's like, brother, you got to spend time with your wife. You got to spend time with your wife because there's a struggle for balance. And we didn't know how to create that balance. And in that, the business came more important to him. The children became more important to me. So then it was like, well, it just happened that way.
And thank you all for your transparency. Thank you all for your questions. But Marcellus, I'm coming to you. That's right, Marcellus, with the etiquette. But Marcellus says, yes, sir. That happens a lot. So a lot of young brothers, we go hard for the faith and neglect the real MVP. My sister Miriam says, I gotta start with you, Sister Stephanie. Did you go to therapy after the divorce or consider it to help with the healing process?
We went to counseling before the divorce, and then after the divorce, I immediately started getting audited. This was in 2009, 2010, something like that. So right after the divorce, I began the auditing process because that was a lot of years for a young girl. So at the end of it, there was a lot of resentment because I looked up and I was like, I was 20 when it started. I'm 30. And I have done, I went to college and got my degree, but I had done nothing personally for me except for be a mom and be a lieutenant and do all these things in the moms, but I hadn't fulfilled anything for self. So it was a lot of resentment there. So I did go afterwards, definitely.
Okay, yes, ma'am. And but Ronald, did you ever get therapy to uphill the process?
We seeked counsel with the minister and a student minister and his wife in the mosque. And then it's probably going to sound really bad, but I remember one day I was leaving this gym it was a church that I played basketball at. Mm-hmm. And I was talking to somebody about it. And the guy offered me $100 if I came today, like group marriage counseling thing. So we went there for the money. I don't remember nothing about it, but I'm just saying the good answer would say, yeah, I sought counseling, brother, but I didn't really seek it because I didn't really, you know what I mean? Like at that point, the thing about therapy and counseling is, especially couples, you have to be on the same accord. And me and her just weren't. Like, you know what I mean? Like one thing about the biggest thing I'll chalk my divorce up to is not knowing my partner better before we got married. So when it got to be rough and we're not equally yoked and we're not on the same accord, we could talk whatever we want to talk. But basically, I give you an example again, no shade. I was reading in the Quran about divorce. And no, I'm sorry, it was something the minister said, in the final call about divorce. And I gave it to my ex, and it was something like, saying something about sticking it together. And she had pointed out to me Sister Ava's book where it says, well, if you're in a marriage and there's just no peace at all, it's time to get out. And so at the time I was like, well, I don't think there's no peace at all. I didn't. But in her head, that's where she was at. Whether we were fighting or not, that she wasn't, you know what I mean? It's not what she wanted. She wanted something different, which is fine. It wasn't, you know what I'm saying? It ain't no knock on me. We weren't yoked from the beginning. So we had suffered 3 years. And I don't want to say suffered like it was a bad thing, but I'm saying we put up with each other for 3 years and pretended to love and grow, but that wasn't what we was doing.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Excellent. And thank you all for watching. My sister Naima, outside with you, Sister Stephanie, says, in hindsight, were there red flags that you may have ignored before you got married?
No. We didn't start going through, no. We had a great courtship. We had very supportive elders that were teaching us. We had married couples that would go out with us. Our minister at the time, Brother Minister Richard, and his wife were very supportive. They were very hands-on with teaching us what to do as a couple. And the first 5 years were great, but the second 5 was like, so no, what I seen at the end, we didn't know that was coming. We never saw that coming.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. What about you, Ronald? Were there any red flags that you may have ignored?
I wouldn't say I ignored them because I don't feel like they were red flags at the time. Now looking back in hindsight, yeah, but I was 23 when I got married. There was a young group of brothers in the mosque that was, lieutenants and growing up squad leaders, and we was hitting the pavement. It was our time to kind of take over as men. And I was like the first one out the bunch to get married. So I got praised and we got praised, and we were like the standard young couple. Behind closed doors, that wasn't necessarily what it was. But out in the public, oh yeah, we want to be like y'all, and I want to get me a wife and all that good stuff and blase, blase, blase. And I mean, you know, I come from parents that have been married. I'm 36 years old. They've been married 41 years or something like that. They've been married a long time, and they've been arguing a long time. So a lot of things that might seem a red flag to somebody else, I'm like, oh, that's normal. Like, people argue all the time, or people getting arguments, people getting disputes. It ain't that deep. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't say they were red flags that I ignored, but now looking back, there were some things that I've been like, oh, I probably should have paid a little bit more attention to that.
Okay. Excellent. And thank you all for watching. My brother Rashad says, this is a good subject, definitely needs to be discussed from a real perspective. Thank you, brother Ivan, I believe is how you say your name. Brother Marcellus, he says he's not a fan of short courtship process. Can't even think of proposing to women who have been known for at least 2 years. Thank you, brother Marcellus. Moving forward. Stephanie's being mama right now. Brother Ronald, how long, if you were moving forward, how long do you think that you would wait before you propose to a sister?
I didn't think I'd be single for 10 years, so I have no idea, brother. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that, because this can start the female bashing period of the portion of the show. So I'm gonna just let it.
Okay, so
I have no idea, brother. When Allah bless me with the right one.
Okay, Sister Stephanie, and when will how long do you think that you will court a brother before you accept his proposal, if you will?
It depends on us. It depends on the vibe. I'm a little older now, so I kind of know what I want. I know what kind of relationship I want. I know I don't want to just strictly like marching, because my first marriage was like a military. It was a military marriage. Mm-hmm. We were on post. We were traveling on security. We were lieutenants. We were in the ministry class. It was a military structure. Mm-hmm. I want life this time. I want to have fun this time. I want to be able to laugh and enjoy and crip walk on Thursdays without having any kind of, extracurricular finger pointing going on. So it just depends on the vibe, I guess. I ain't gonna be like, oh, we're gonna court for 3 months, or we're gonna court for 6 months, or we're gonna court for 3 years. No, it just depends on the vibe, because you will never know until that one person. I know I have a sister here, Sister Aisha and Brother David. They just celebrated their year anniversary. They courted for 29 days flat. 29 days flat. And then she was like, hey, I need you to watch the children tonight, because we about to go. And these is not a young couple. We're all, 40. And she was like, I need you to watch the children. I'm about to go downtown to get married right quick. I'm like, what? I'm like, all right, bet. Like, do your thing. So when you know for a surety that this is who and what you want, it don't take no time.
Okay. 1 second, Ronald, before you rebuttal that. Okay. I want to say.
I wasn't about to rebuttal that.
Sister,
congratulations to the young couple. That's there you go.
Thank you. Amina Hot says, I can understand not knowing what a red flag is. We have to teach what to look for. Thank you, Amina, and please teach us what to look for, because Amina has been here for some time as well. I want to say that this podcast is brought to you by my sister Miriam's book, I Love Me. It's a children's book as well. Coloring book as well on Amazon. My brother, Politically Oppressed, and his business partner Jamal, Street Premiere Video Production. Thank you all, as well as my second book, which is the children's book, Cleopatra, is on Amazon. Shout out to Sister for getting it for her.
I'm ready to go back and
Thank you very much. Now, my question, and thank you all for watching at home. If you all have a business that you like to promote, please let me know. Your Imagination on Cash App or inbox me. For you, Brother Ronald, how long is it before you show the person that you are dating or courting your raw self, if you will? Like Stephanie said, it may be her foot walking. It may be her doing that dance, and so you might not want to show somebody up front. I don't want to date. I don't want to show you that I cuss, or I listen to rap music, or I listen to, what I'm saying? How long before you are your authentic self with the person that you're looking to marry?
Day one. I don't really. do that. So,
Okay, so
maybe that's why I've been single for 10 years.
Okay, so Stephanie, how long before you tell a brother that you don't listen to classical music at home all the time, or something that he may be thinking that you like listen to, I don't know, Lauryn Hill every day or something? I don't know.
Well, they gotta know off top. Because I don't want to. I don't want to be fake with nobody. I don't want you to look at me or be in a situation with me and me be a facade piece. You know what I'm saying? So then once real life kick in, I didn't know you did this. I didn't know you did that. I don't know nobody who don't know me that don't know that I crip walk on Thursdays. Like, it just is. So if you don't like that, just swipe left. It's fine. It's fine with me. But for me to be myself is 100% of importance. I can't fake with nobody. Not doing it. So if you don't like me for who and what I am, you don't like me. It's cool.
Okay.
I've been single for a long time too, this time. So that's probably why too, Ronald. Yeah, I feel you. Like, why would I pretend to be something that I'm not for you to like me?
I got a real close friend who's dealing with that. Beautiful sister that he married. They had beautiful children. And he came off as, I don't consider it the perfect FOI, but the textbook FOI. Mm-hmm. And the you know what I'm saying? Like, there's certain things that are very necessary. And then there's other things that you have to ask yourself the intent of. You know what I mean? So, when you hold posts in the mosque and 4 sisters pull up in the car and I go get their door and I go to the driver's side door and the sister in the back seat opens her door and I say, "Oh, sister, I was going to get it." And she looks at me and says, "Oh, brother, please, like, I can get my door." I know that she's real because I didn't open their door to get in the car in the first place. Like, not saying I can't get all the doors, but we got to be honest about, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes we'll expect something that just ain't real, that just ain't necessary. Mm. Not that it's not possible, but it's not necessary. Mm. And so a lot of times, we'll try to be something or put on a facade and try to hold that position. But that post is hard. Like, if you've been on post for a long time, Savior's Day back in the day, the minutes are going for 4 hours. Holding it down can be difficult at times. The knees get to locking up. So trying to hold that position can get tough. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, let's be real about it. I need to sit down every now and then too. I like water too. Like, let's not get it twisted. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's cool. I'm going to strive to be great. You're 100% correct. But don't hold me to that standard of just perfection. That's not real. You know what I mean?
Right.
Okay, right. Excellent. And I want to read the comment. Sister Mariah says that Sister Stephanie was married to Major Payne Shabazz. Thank you, Sister. But Marcella says, okay, thank you for that. Brother T. Farrell, somebody, Brother T. Farrell says, day one, bruh. Sister Amina Hawk says, day one. Brother Marcella says he's going to keep it 100 off the gate. He's jamming the Kodak off the rip. Sister Miriam says being authentic is necessary. Sister Kathy Brown says, I know that's right. Not faking it for no one. Gotta be me with all my flaws, authentic and unique. Sister Hawk says unrealistic expectations. But Marcella says takes too much energy to be fake. And Mimi says, does Brother Ronald? He said Brother Ronald isn't opening doors for sisters now. Okay.
That's all you heard, huh, Mimi? That's all you heard.
Okay. So listen. Okay, my next question is, how important, you all both have children. So I'll start with you, Sister Stephanie. Did that make you stay longer than you should have stayed based off the children?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Coming in to that particular situation, he had 2 daughters. I had a son. Their mother wasn't, I ain't gonna say it, she was crackhead. So, and they were 6 and 7 at the time. And then my son was like 3 or 4, something like that. So I automatically had 4 children. And then we had another child, so it was so important for me to keep the children together to be their mother. Because once, if I was gone, the girls wouldn't have had a mother. And then once I was gone, my son would not have had a father. And so in that respect, he was an excellent father and I was an excellent mother. We just were not good friends. So I definitely stayed longer for the children because you sacrifice for your children. You want to, try to give them the best that you can. You want to be an example for them because children don't listen to what you say. They watch what you do. So I definitely stayed longer than I probably should have.
Okay, yes, ma'am. Brother Ron, I'm coming to you, but I want to first read the comments. Sister Amina Hawk says, absolutely. Sister Rachel says, yes, children definitely made her stay longer than she should have. Okay, Brother Ronald, what about you? How important was children in your staying process?
There was a boiling point. So when it got to that boiling point, no, it was over. But in the 3-year process, when there were issues come up or whatever, yeah, children definitely played a part. She had 2 children that I basically raised. One was 3 years old when we met, started dating, and the other one was 6 months old. So I raised her 2 oldest boys. Then we ended up having 2 children of our own. And then at some point, her 2 younger sisters ended up moving in with us because her father and family, whatever, was having issues. So I had a household of 7, just and sole proprietor. For the most part, she wasn't working, which is, that was fine. That was the circumstances. So early, yes, but when it was over, it was over. Once that straw had broke, we're gonna get right. We not. I'm out. 3 days later, hey, just so you know, it's the first of the month. I'm not paying this rent. What you about to do? I'm one of them people. When it's real, when it's done, it's done. I don't linger.
Okay, excellent. And thank you all for watching. Sister Rachel says, I'm reading it in Sister Rachel's voice. She says she was in a domestic violence situation and she thought about staying. She thought staying would make it stop, but it didn't, and she was being dumb. Okay. Sister Miriam says not being good friends, quoting Sister Stephanie, I believe, in quotation marks. She said that's powerful. A lot of people don't understand the importance of friendship. Now let's stay right there. I'm coming to you the next point. We're gonna come to you, Sister Rachel, on friendship. So I was taught, like many men were taught, that you don't want to be friends with people because if you are friends with opposite sex, you're in a friend zone. You know what I'm saying? It's not good to be in a friend zone. So how do you become friends and not be in a friend zone with your partner? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you be friends and in a marriage with them? Like, how do you go about doing that?
Well, with your mate, your mate has to be your friend, because your mate is going to be the closest person to you. When you're happy, when you're sad, when you're sick, that's going to be the person next to you. That's going to be your confidant. And if you can't talk about everything that ails you, as well as share your highest, you know what I'm saying, your joy, your most joyous moments, then you're going to hit a plateau. Because I need to be able to be like, excited that I made these fantastic popovers. Y'all know I talk about food. I make these fantastic popovers and they just were so big and fluffy up until I put way too much salt in these potatoes. You want to taste them? You feel me? I need to be able to have a clear sounding board. And only friendship in your relationship will allow you to do that. In regards to being friend zoned by people of the opposite sex, if they do it, then all praise due to Allah. Because they saving you the heartache of you trying to get into somewhere where they don't really want you to be. So if somebody friends on you, all praise due to Allah. You my homie, we kicking it. But in regards to my man, I need a homie lover friend, no R. Kelly. But I need a homie lover friend. I need to be able to talk to you, act silly with you, pray with you, dance with you. I need to be able to do all of that. And when you can't, when there's elements of that missing, then, you know what I'm saying, part of your relationship is going to suffer.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
That was a delayed laugh on the R. Kelly. It's cool.
Okay.
No, I was thinking in my head, nothing to do with you.
Okay.
I hope you was thinking in your head. That's
all right. Okay, Brother Ronald. Brother Ronald. the same question is to you. How do you go about being friends with the person, and how important is that?
Man, Josh, you about to get me in trouble. That's a very difficult one for me, brother. I don't. Maybe we need to define the term friendship. It's very hard because I like my leisure time. Mm-hmm. And when I like my leisure time, some of the things that I enjoy, I really don't want my woman talking sports with me. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't really care about your take on LeBron James. Like, that's rude, but that's kind of how I feel. You know what I mean? I'm not a dancer, so where people will go out dancing and stuff, that ain't really me. I'm not a dancer. So like I like music or whatever, we can go out, but I'm not gonna be dancing and on the dance floor with you all night. So for me, that's difficult. I've seen people have that and it's beautiful. Like I'm jealous and I'm envious of it. Like, oh, they got on matching Tom Brady jerseys and all that cutesy stuff or whatever. That ain't never been my stick though. Like I don't know, it's weird. I don't know. That's you got me stumped, to be honest with you. I know it's important. I think it's important to know. I think it's important to have a nice bond and have trust. Like I need to be able to confide in you for sure. I need to be able to, man, my job is getting to me, or these kids is getting to me, or whatever. I need that. And I know she needs that as well. You know, I learned in my 1 or 2 counseling sessions, 10,000 words a day. It's a lot of words for a sister, but that's what she need to get out. So, but like, you know what I'm saying? But I guess you got to find that common ground. You know what I'm saying? We can lock up and watch a movie for sure. We can, but I don't know. Maybe friendship. I don't know. It's difficult.
Okay. I think the definition that you're going at is different than what is really inside of everybody's relationship, because everybody's levels are going to be different. I don't do sports at all. However, I will make all the snacks. I could still wear the t-shirt. I'm not finna sit down and watch it though. I have absolutely no idea why he's running with that ball. So, that's that. However, you know what I'm saying? If I want to listen to this particular I listen to country music. Mm-hmm. I don't know nobody that like country music but me and my mother's twin sister. So I don't expect you to listen to that with me. However, when we just sitting and chilling, I need to be able to kick back and relax and don't feel like I have to be walking on eggshells around my mate. That's what friendship is. It is that trust. It's a camaraderie. You know what I'm saying? So if a child walk by and I decide to jump up and suplex this child, I need you to do the stone cold stunner on the other one. That's that type of friendship. It don't necessarily mean we're going to do the same things together all the time. But in the time that we do get, for us, those date nights don't necessarily have to be let's go to eat or whatever. It's just something that we can do together that we both enjoy. Everybody need their own separate time and space, though. You got to have it or you'll go crazy.
Excellent point. And I'm coming to your comments, but I'm going to ask Brother Ronald a follow-up question and you, Sis Stephanie, as well. Brother Ronald, do you think that soulmate, if you will, or the one, in quotation marks, will be the one who will help get you to get out of your comfort zone of not wanting to dance or maybe go skating or something like a girl thing? Do you think that the one will be able to help you get out of your comfort zone and do that?
Or do I think the one will not ask me to do that because she knows I don't? No, like, don't get it twisted. I've been out dancing before. I've been roller skating before. So it's not that I can't do it. When I just heard friendship, I'm thinking buddy. But she's 100% correct in the compromise. Like, I understand that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not the... I think that's why it's so hard to be single. I'm not the best dater. Like we in or we out. If we out, keep it moving. If we in, all right, let's lock in. Let's settle down. Let's build our credit. Let's get a house, whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? All the in-between part, that's the part that kind of like, I don't want to waste time. I don't have the energy. I have children. I have a daughter. You know what I'm saying? She's not going to see me date multiple women. That's just not something I'm gonna do. Having a daughter for my son as well, but things you got to think of. So it's like I guess the friendship, like I said, the term threw me off, but 100% you got to compromise. I don't mind getting out of my comfort zone. I think I did when I was married. That might have been one of the things that complicated the situation because I was very not as corny. We not doing that. Mm-hmm. So I could have did better. I can admit that. I'll take my lump.
Yes, sir. Okay, Sister Stephanie, do you think that maybe because you are associated and affiliated so much with certain colors that the one may have you listening to Lil Wayne in The Game and you know what I'm saying, like Young Thug, all people who wear red? Do you think that he can get you to compromise in that sense? Where it's like, damn, are you playing the difference? Could you compromise with that? See what I'm saying? Over music. What are you?
Okay, so you know what's the thing to me is I don't mind any of it. Mm-hmm. I just don't want to wear it for myself.
Okay. But you're listening to it though.
I could listen to Lil Wayne. I could listen to any of it. Mm-hmm. My mate is probably going to be on the opposite side of the fence anyway. Okay. Because they're the only people that's not really scared of me. Everybody else, I think I scare them. But it will be a compromise, and I believe that it will come down to it, and I don't mind it. We just not finna like post up with no red rags and none of that. We're not gonna go all the way against the grain.
Okay.
We put bread on a sandwich, but we ain't gonna go all the way against it. We're not.
Okay. Yes. Rachel says, I was told by my ex that I was used and nobody would want me with 4 children.
Well, we hate Johnny, Rachel. We hate dudes. So
okay, we're not saying nobody.
Whoa! I love brother Johnny. Brother, I don't even know who the brother is.
We hate dudes.
We not gonna mail bash. That's not what we doing. That's not what we doing.
It's just okay. Rachel is my little sister in real life.
You don't have to say real name.
And I'm sorry, Pee Wee Herman. We hate Pee Wee Herman.
Okay. Kathy Brown says right.
We hate Pee Wee Herman.
Kathy Brown says yes. I totally agree with that.
Sorry,
Rachel. Muhammad says very real topics. Sister,
he an Ingram for me.
I compromised my Islam. That was very uncomfortable.
I watched it.
So Mina Hawk said it is so vital to be respectful of one another's process and learn to pray through the difference. It is very easy to leave when the affection fizzles. The courtship process does not include proper communication. The courtship process that does not include proper communication, mature expectation, and work it out plan leads to divorce. Yes, ma'am. Sister Brandy says, I would like to add that it's important to be friends with your spouse. My husband was my best friend. Excellent. Sister Mariah says she likes country music too. So do I. Sister Mariah and Sister Stephanie, I like country music. Some of it. I'm not just all into it. But Sister Amina Hawk says too much fantasizing, inappropriate sexual advances, fake spirituality, all has a baseless foundation. Every relationship started should have a solid conflict resolution. Yes, ma'am.
I agree. I got that from brother Willie. Is that the one who does a lot of relationship talks out of New Orleans, right? He was talking about having a problem resolution plan and what would you do if this, that, and the third happened. And that's absolutely correct. You definitely need to have that going into a relationship. And I think relationships are about compromise. They are about growth and development. But trying to go into a courtship and be by the book, like letter for letter, there's no personality in that. Mm-hmm. There's no personality on those pages. Those pages are black and white. So you could tell me, okay, we all should, those of us that would be in these particular courtships, we know that Master Farah Muhammad is God, and that's fine. However, what is it that you like? What do you want to go? What do you want to be? What makes you laugh? What makes you cry? Personality has to come into play. Because if y'all just reading off questions, answering questions, you're going to be empty. And then once I'm going to read off these questions, I'm going to give you these textbook answers because everybody has the answers, the right answers that come out of these books. If you read the courtship manual, you know what to say and what not to say. Y'all get married. Now y'all in the house with each other, looking at each other stupid because you still don't know this person because all y'all been doing is discussing paper.
Excellent point. I'm sure a lot of sisters are at home snapping their fingers for that. As soon as Brother Ronald stops watching the Lakers game, here we go. So my sister Mimi says, "What did you learn about yourself?" We'll start with Brother Ronald, Sister Miriam's best friend. Sister Brother Ronald, what did you learn about yourself from your divorce that will help you moving forward?
What did I learn about myself? If I told everybody the story behind my marriage and my divorce, people wouldn't blame me. But I 100% blame myself. The main thing that I think I learned is I can't force, and I don't mean force like as in force, but like it's gonna be all right. We're gonna get right. It's gonna make sense. It's gonna work itself out. Like it is what it is. And if it's not that, going into something thinking it's gonna change, sometimes it can, sometimes it's great. You know what I mean? But I wouldn't give anybody that advice. You know, she was talking about the courtship manual, and we'll talk, and people will say things like there's blanket rules for relationships or when to leave or when to say yes or when to say no. The minister talked about hitting Mother Khadijah. She didn't leave. My father used to have domestic issues. They didn't leave. They made it work. So everything ain't as blanket as, oh, he hit you, leave. Oh, she cheated, leave. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Like those sound terrible, those sound harsh. And we live in a world today where things are so overly dramatic that we don't get to the realistic, we don't get to the reality of what it was. So in my situation with my ex, she did step out on me. And it sounds really bad, but I also know I didn't give her what she needed. I created a climate to where she went looking for something in the wrong place. I'm not making her no excuses for her, but she went looking for something that she was needing because she didn't feel comfortable and communicate enough to say she needed it in me or to come to me and look for it in me. So 100%, I still put it on myself. So I guess what I learned is it doesn't, I think Brother Nuri just said this. It's not 50-50, it's 100-100. If you're not giving it 100% of everything, every day, every time, you're leaving room for something to happen. And depending on the moment, the time, the dramaticness of the situation, that little 1% that you left open can be devastating. It can cost you a marriage, and everything could have been great 7 years straight. And then all of a sudden, boom, what happened? Because of a bad day or a bad situation because you didn't tie a loose end. So for me, it's just to make sure I'm 100% giving that my full everything because she was my wife. She was my friend who became my fiance, who became my wife, who became the mother of my children. That's forever. And now, no matter what happens, I never forget. I'm a sentimental brother sometimes. Y'all don't know this about me.
You don't know.
It had to be about 5 years ago. We was in the car and my son's friends, they was having like a sleepover at my house. And we was all in the car riding. And they was, kids talking. They was excited. And the kid asked my son, "Where's your mom?" And he was like, "Oh, my mom and dad are divorced." And that was the first time I ever heard him say that. Like it bothered me that he knew what divorce was, but he didn't know what marriage was. He never seen me and his mom married. We got divorced. We were broken up on his first birthday. So he's never seen us together and married, whatever. But he knows what divorce was. And I don't know why. And of course, we were living it, but it rung in my head once I heard him say it to his friend. And I was like, yeah, that's not supposed to be normal. That's not supposed to be. Now, fast forward to yesterday, we in the car talking, and he's like, yeah, all my friends' parents are divorced. And he's just talking about it, except for one. He said, except for Juju. Everybody else, oh yeah, that friend, their mom, dad ain't together no more. And I was like, dang, that's so commonplace. And of course, you never want that for your children. So just to make sure that you're forever giving your 100% into everything that you're doing, because as soon as you give it 99, that gives a 1% chance of something messing up.
True story.
Okay, Sister Stephanie, I want to read thank you all for watching and staying tuned in to Off the Record this evening, but I want to read, I'm coming to all your comments, but I'm staying on this specific question, Sister Stephanie, my sister Miriam, to you, what did you learn about yourself from your divorce that would help you moving forward?
That I am worth it. I'm worth it. When we sometimes at the end of marriages, when things get ugly, and the fighting, not physical, I was never a physical one, but the word fighting comes, and people who love you know what to say to shred marrow from bone. So coming out of it, once I started auditing, I had a better look at myself. Like, no, you're a great mother. You're a fantastic Muslim. You're a good sister. You know what I mean? Just understanding my worth as a woman. I am not just your wife. You know what I mean? Because it was like a possessive type of thing. Because there was no, I want to say intimacy in regards to a loving, caring friendship type of thing. It was just military, which is by the book. So coming out of it, I'm worth these hugs and these kisses and these walks with these hands and, you know, stuff that I don't normally do or I wouldn't think to do. But just because I don't do them, it don't make me not worth it. And seeing the value in myself changed my perception in life. And it also helped me to weed out things that would happen in the future. Like, no, if the red flags, when they came up, I'm like, nah, no. Because if you feel comfortable doing that, you're going to feel comfortable doing this. Thank y'all for coming out. God bless you. Good night. So in it, it was seeing the value of myself. And then as a matter of fact, right after we got divorced, that's when we all went to the Vanguard Retreat 2011, when Minister Farrakhan did the Divine Value of Woman. That was beneficial to my soul because I needed to know that I was worth it, not only in the eyesight of Allah, but in the man who is going to love me, period. I'm worth it. I'm worth everything that he has to give me, and he is worth everything for me. So it was validating for myself. I mean, going through auditing, releasing a lot of things that I had heard, a lot of things that replay, because if we don't do that, if we don't release these things and we get into another situation and it trigger, you're going to go off on somebody for something that you haven't let go. So yeah, that was it for me.
Wonderful. And thank you all both for your transparency. Sister Amina Hawk says too many Western ways into our courtship process, since money and finances are the main reason marriages end. Go into marriage solid. Stop marrying potential brothers and sisters. Yes, ma'am. Sister Kathy says good to own it. Learn to become flexible. Right, Sister Amina? Mimi's laughing at Brother Ronald, one of his responses. This is funny. But Maurice says, what? I'm going with you, brother. I mean, Sister Stephanie, then to you, Brother Ronald. But Maurice says, what part do you believe the price? Okay, we already answered that one, brother. Okay, excellent point, Sister Naima. We answered that, brother Maurice. Sister Rachel says, healing is essential when going into the next relationship. In healing, I have released hate, which enables me to love in my marriage.
Absolutely.
Release the hate and start to love. Okay, agrees. Brother Ivan says, Brother Ivan, you gotta let the crip walk go, bro. You gotta let it go. You gotta Google crip or YouTube crip walk, and it will explain it. Sister Rachel says, awesome point, Brother Ronald. Brother T. Farrell says, he's been there with his ex-brother, made the same self-assessment as well. Yes, sir. Thank you, Brother T. Farrell. Brother T. Farrell had a good interview when he discussed that as well. Thank you, sir. Good point. Sister Amina Hawk says, that's what we need to talk about first. There's no letter queen. If we stop sexing and texting and start paying attention to the courtship, person, coping skills, spending. Okay, a long one. Survive. Excellent, Sister Amina. Excellent, Sister Kathy. And thank you. Good point, Sister Stephanie. Sister Amina Hawk says, good point. Good point, Brother Ronald. Good point. Thank you, Sister Kathy Brown. And Sister Mimi says, thank you both for answering. We appreciate you sharing. Thanks, Josh, for great comment. Thank you, Mimi. All right. The next is, do you all both, let's start with you, Sister Stephanie, and then to you, Brother Ronald. Sister Stephanie, right now, 2019, 2020, do you believe in love? And do you still believe in marriage?
Absolutely. Absolutely, without a doubt. I'm going to get married again. Inshallah, next year.
Okay. B.
Flat out. It's in the air. Poof.
Yes, ma'am.
There it is. I do believe in love. Some people do allow divorce to taint their idea of marriage, because divorce hurts. It feels like death after you've been with somebody for a long time, and that's what you're used to. It, that separation, it literally feels like you just lost a part of yourself, and you did. But when you look at yourself, you got to know that you're not meant to be by yourself. You may not have been meant to be with that particular person, but you were not meant to be by yourself. So whoever it is that Allah has for you will come for you, and you have to be ready to accept it. Okay, you go.
Absolutely. This is the Amina says awesome. This is Rachel says absolutely. Brother Ronald, in 2019, moving into 2020, a new year, 2020 vision. Do you believe in love, and do you still believe in marriage?
100% I believe in love, and I definitely believe in marriage. I think I need to better understand what love is. I feel I'm not as optimistic about getting remarried as I know I want to get remarried, but I don't know. That just may not be in the cards for me because, yeah, it's hard out here for a pimp.
Thank you, Ronald, for saying that. He'd be right there. He'd be having a like, oh, that's right. It's hard out here for a pimp. Ain't that?
Y'all know I got a joke. Y'all
yes,
know
sir.
I got a joke.
These are all facts. I want to thank everyone because I wanted to I spoke to both of you all separately about other things, and I started asking questions, and both of y'all, I couldn't believe. I know people who got breakups, you know what I'm saying, and was like, it's over. I'm never doing it again. I'm hard. My heart is cold, icebox where my heart used to be, and you all been through divorce, and y'all still believe in love, still believe in marriage. That is beautiful. That is very optimistic, and I'm happy that you all were so transparent. I hope that people who watch this live and as well as on YouTube can heal and be motivated as well. And I wish you all nothing but love and happiness moving into 2020. Absolutely, Sister Amina. I'm waiting on you, Sister Amina. I'm ready whenever you are, Brother Dean. Thank you for watching, Brother Dean. Supreme Dean. All right, now, Brother Dean, I'm ready to interview you whenever you are. So Kathy Brown says, it sure is. I'm assuming she's talking about love. Brother Orlando says, y'all are funny. Brother Ivan. Okay, one last question, brother, and we're gonna take this from Brother Ivan. The last question. I believe to you, Brother Ronald. We'll start with you because I believe he's referring to Sister Stephanie because he keeps talking about her crib walking. Brother Ronald, do you what will you do different in your next relationship to make sure that you are better for your mate in your next marriage?
To make sure I'm better.
Yes,
I mean, I already feel like I'm better than I was at 23, so that part is pretty complete already. I mean, you know, not to say that you got to get divorced, but you only can do so many. You can only do something for the first time once. So, you know, I hope I'm a better father for my son than I was for my daughter because I was new. I hope I learned something. So in my marriage, you know, I know I learned things. I know I gotta put on the matching sweaters and go to the roller rink and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? I know that, you know, there's shared invested time and interest that has to be needed and cultivated. But I think more than anything, and this is I don't want to say this the wrong way. Allah is in me. Allah is in all of us. And I think in my last relationship, especially with her not being registered and coming into the mosque, I was trying to make sure that it was in her. But if it's in me and she's with me, there's no way for it not to be in her. You know, it's the clean glass and the dirty glass. And so not to force things, not to make things so it has to be this way. It has to be militant. It has to be, but just to let it come naturally because, you know, the sun naturally comes out. Ain't nobody forcing it. Ain't no flip to be switched. You know what I mean? So I feel like in my next relationship, doing the best me is the most important thing I can do. And letting that reflect with her. And hopefully vice versa. She'll be doing the best her, and that'll reflect in me. You know, men, especially when I was married, you're inspired to be there, help, support your family. Like, you know, I didn't done details. I didn't make big money. I didn't did big shows. I didn't did a lot of things in my life, but nothing was better than coming home with a new car for the family. Nothing felt better than, you know what I'm saying, getting that new house we wanted, whatever. So, you know, when you're able to, and I don't mean the little trivial stuff. I just mean to make sure that this is what it was. We're going to put our children in the best of schools, or we're going to make sure that, you know, she graduates or she gets this car that she, whatever. You get to a point of the goal, and as a man, to put that responsibility on yourself, achieving that goal is the best achievement, you know, I've ever felt. So that's one of the reasons I definitely want to be remarried again.
Praise be so excellent. And I'm coming to you, Sister Stephanie, with all praise ARC, Brother Dean, absolutely. Brother Ivan's writing the books. The Heaven says all praise to Allah. Thank you for both for your transparency. Matching sweaters, clean glass, dirty glass. And okay, the last question to you, Sister Stephanie. What will you do different in your next relationship to make sure that you are a better mate for your next marriage?
Well, this time, as I've been single, the most study I've done is on marriage, not only from, the standpoint within our nation, but just Islamic marriage as a whole, or marriage in general, the responsibilities of the wife, the responsibilities of the husband, what Allah expects out of me as a wife, and what I could do to make our lives easier. When Minister Nuri says that your home is your charger, I don't want to be the family dollar charger. I want to be the Apple charger, like the super one with, the expensive cord. Yeah. So when you come in, you get an immediate charge from being at home. I studied myself and what it would take for me to be a better, just like he was saying, like for me to be a better me, which would make me a better wife. I long for those things. So me being married so long, we got up in the morning and we had coffee and we prayed and we talked, and then I, took care of the children, and I loved cooking for my husband. That's when I learned how to cook. That's when I perfected my skills. Before I went to college to be a chef, before I cooked in any 5-star restaurant, I learned how to do it for my husband first. And those are the elements of life that I miss. So just in that, I have a million books about marriage, the responsibilities of marriage, the lecture that the minister did. What is your role? Knowing your role as a female and as a male is imperative, especially in this day and age when society is trying to make everything other than itself. And then for me, my hardest obstacle is coming out of the independent woman syndrome, because it's real. I've been divorced for a long time. I've been taking care of my children by myself for a long time. So this I got it is not attractive to an alpha male that wants to provide for his family. It's not attractive to him, because she's like, she could do it without him. But I'm not a retarded woman that I don't need no man. You're stupid if you say that, because you need one. And we are not complete without our counterparts. So my goal in wanting to be married again is to complete myself, to complete my deen, and to complete my family. And then the choosing of my mate will be super important to me, because I have children that I'm raising in the nation, that I'm raising as young Muslims. And I need him to be a great representation of our father, the Honorable Mrs. Farrakhan, so he can show Juma what a FOI really is. And I need to be the example so Jenna can know what she's striving to be. So that's where I'm at with it. Like, and I need that in my life, because I know that I can't turn Juma into no man. I cannot. I could do the best that I can, but it take a man to make a man. And I don't want my son soft. I don't want him passive. I want him to be a masculine man too. I need a masculine man in my life to make that happen. So yeah, I want a husband for me. I want one for my children, and I want one for my nation. It's all one man, but I just want him for those 3 different purposes.
Praise be to Allah. And I want a woman for me, a woman for the children, a woman for the nation. Okay. All right. So listen. So I want to.
You want 3 different women, though, or just one?
You want 3. That was a polygamy statement for him.
See what I'm saying? The FOI is the best. That's why, Sister Rachel. Excellent. I just want to thank y'all for watching. This was a great topic. Y'all made it so funny, even though it's such a heavy and serious subject. Y'all kept everybody light all the way through it. Sister Amina Hawk said she loves representation, sis. Brother Ronald, I love your representation as well, bro. I think Sister Rachel gonna start. Sister,
what she said? I love Sister Rachel.
Keep being patient. Thank you for growth. Rashad says Josh is lying. Rashad, shut up. You don't know if I'm lying or not. My God. No, I'm very happy for everybody who's in love going into 2019, looking into 2020. Hope everybody has love and marriage is half our faith. Strong family, strong nation. Y'all know the quotes. May Allah bless us all to find love and happiness. I look forward to
I know that, like, you normally ask the questions, but can I ask the question, Josh?
No, it's going off. Listen, so I will see y'all tomorrow. We got top 5.
You see that? You see how he just cut that off?
We got an interview tomorrow.
Brother Joshua, we got questions for you.
We got to go. People out here drinking eggnog and trying to one day.
It's okay. These are Muslims. They drink eggnog and watch you at the same time.
Hey, if the people want interview with me and Josh where I get to ask him the questions, just go ahead and type yes. I got all kind of questions for you, Josh. The people need it. The people's podcast, they need it.
They need it.
Yes, sir.
But Ivan, I will inbox you, sir, so I can bring you on the show. I didn't even know you wanted to come on. Yes, sir. And Brother Ivan wrote a book as well. I look forward.
Brother Ivan, just go watch Snoop Dogg Drop It Like It's Hot. He will crip walk for you, and you can see exactly what it is. Okay. On the set, yes.
Oh, here we go. We almost made it all the way through. So anyway,
you almost did, but you know,
I didn't even realize there was no crip walking in Drop It Like It's Hot video. That was one of my favorites.
He sure did.
All right.
Only on the left side. Yeah, that's the okay. Sorry.
That's what Amina Hawk says. Answer the question. Mimi says yes. No. What am I putting yes for? Ain't no ask questions.
Oh, y'all know what it is. It's coming soon. It's coming soon. We'll try to make it happen before the end of 2019, but if not, first thing 2020. I got y'all.
All right.
All right.